God bless you. My name is Emmanuel, and welcome again to the Secret Place TV. I want to specifically speak to men, fathers or brothers or sons. As long as you are not a woman, you are a man. And what I'm about to say is very profound, is very important, and I'll try as much as possible to go straight to the point. Now, the Bible says that David fought all his enemies. He fought all the battles in his lifetime. Most of you who have read the account of David, King David, you will understand that David had a lot of battles to fight. Since he was a teenager, he started fighting all through his life. David was fighting. But it's amazing that Solomon the king, that's the son of David, when Solomon became king, he never fought any battle. The Bible said that Solomon had peace. He had rest. All through his reign, he had rest. Because, listen to this, Solomon had rest because David fought all the battles. King Solomon had rest as a king because his father David fought all the battles. So there was no battle left for Solomon to fight. You understand what I'm saying? In fact, before David died, he called Solomon and he gave him some instruction. He specifically pointed out certain dangerous people in his reign or in the kingdom that must be brought down. So Solomon, David was alive while the remaining enemies or the people left were destroyed. David made sure that all the enemies of his kingdom were brought down in his lifetime because he wanted to make sure that his son had a peaceful reign. Peaceful reign. In fact, when David was about to die, his bodyguard, some of his army generals, went after some of his arch enemies, even some of his sons who were against Solomon, and they brought them down because they didn't want Solomon to fight any battle. I want to speak to sons. It's sunny here, so I'm putting on my glasses. I want to speak to men. In every family, you got to understand that a man in a family is like a pillar. If you're a brother listening to me, whether you're a father or a son or an uncle, as long as you're not a woman, this video is for you. You got to understand that you are like a pillar in your generation. And because you're a pillar in your generation, you have to try as much as possible. Fight the battles of your generation while you are yet alive. Do not allow your children to inherit battles. There are families you enter, you observe that there is a pattern of curses, a pattern of generational curses, a pattern of poverty, a pattern of sickness, a pattern of divorce, a pattern, certain negative patterns running in the generation from one generation to the other. They are suffering the same thing from one generation to the other. They are suffering barrenness. From one generation to the other, they are suffering, some kind of adversity, some kind of painful situation is repeating itself in every generation. It's important for you as a man. I'm not saying that a woman cannot do this, but there is a weight of responsibility on every man to fight this battle. Whether you are a father in your generation or whether you're a brother or an uncle, as long as you're a man, try as much as possible to fight the battles of your generation and don't allow your children to inherit battles. Don't allow your children's children to start fighting your enemies. Now, I'm not talking about physical battle. I'm talking about spiritual battle. Try as much as possible. When you observe certain spiritual patterns, maybe untimely death, maybe a pattern of sickness, mysterious sickness in a generation, a pattern of barrenness, a pattern of divorce, a pattern, some kind of patterns, negative pattern running in your generation. Fight it while you are yet alive. Break that curse while you are yet alive. The reason I'm saying this is because you don't want your children or your children's children to start fighting enemies that they know nothing about. While you are yet alive, when you discover a negative pattern in your generation, while you are yet alive and breathing, fight that enemy and destroy that enemy. I don't want my children or my children's children to inherit any battle. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want my children. Fight all the enemies while you are still alive. Make sure that your children and your children's children, they have rest. Make sure you give them rest, so that these children will not come out tomorrow and they'll be going from one prayer house to another, going from one prophet to another, looking for what is happening to them. When you discover, now you are still breathing, now you are watching this video and you are listening to me. When you discover a pattern of a curse, a generational curse running in your generation, you observe that people die before time. You observe a pattern of sickness. You observe a pattern, some sudden death happens in your generations. Sudden accident, sudden sickness happens in your generation. You want to deal with it while you are still alive, and don't let your children to start fighting your enemies. I know why I'm saying this, because I'm speaking from experience. When my father went to be with the Lord, I had to fight. I told my brothers and my sisters, we called for a generational, curse breaking, and we dealt with the foundation. We dealt with something in my family, and it opened doors of blessing and doors of favor. I'm saying this, when you discover a negative pattern in your generation, deal with it while you are still breathing. Deal with it while you are still alive. Do not allow your innocent children, your innocent children's children, to start fighting things that they know nothing about. If you observe, and this video is specifically for people from Africa, people from Africa, especially those that probably your grandparents or your great-grandparents did some sacrifice, worship some idols. Deal with these things while you are still alive. Break that generational curse while you are still alive, so that your children will not start fighting things they know nothing about. You don't want your children to start going from one prayer house to another, from one prophet to another, looking for what is wrong with them. If you discover a negative pattern in your generation, deal with it now. Call for prayers now. Call for fasting now. Call for men of God now. Whatever you have to do to destroy your enemies while you are still alive. When I mean destroy, I'm not talking about physical fight. Please, I'm not talking about physical fight. But when you discover that there is something wrong in your family, something wrong in your generation, deal with it. Now you are still alive. And don't let your children, your children's children, to start fighting your battles. Now, to finalize or to conclude, if there is anybody, maybe an uncle or maybe a relative, you discover that this person is going to be a problem to your children tomorrow, find a way to make peace while you are still alive. Make sure there is peace while you are still alive. If the person does not want peace, well, separate from the person. Instead of the person to kill your children, to come after your children's children, separate from the person. Fight your battles while you're still alive. And don't let your children or your children's children inherit your battles. God bless you.